Hi Booktube, it's Chelsea the Reading Outlaw finally coming to you guys after months and months and months and months of not having any videos. For those of you who follow me on social media, you may have seen that I just recently had a baby. Baby's doing wonderfully. Baby Reading Outlaw is doing swimmingly well, and getting the chance to stay at home with him on maternity leave has given me plenty of time for reading and plenty of time for Booktube watching. So after stalking a number of you on your back channels and watching a bunch of your old videos, I was just reminded about how much I love Booktube and how much I wanted to kind of rejoin the conversation and start making videos again. So I decided that's what I was gonna do. I decided there was no better way to do that and to kind of jump back into the fray of Booktube than to go ahead and give you guys my library loot and show you guys what great books I've been getting from the library lately. The first books I'm going to show you are actually 3 graphic novels. It's the first 3 volumes in a series that I first heard about over on Lindsay Ray's channel, which I will link to down in the information box below. Lindsay Ray is an amazing booktuber, and I will basically read anything that she recommends. She's been raving about these books. She's actually just caught up with the whole series, and she says they're fantastic, so I'm excited to give them a try. They are the first 3 volumes in the Chew series. So the first volume is called Taster's Choice. The second volume is called International Flavor. And the third volume is called Just Desserts. The Chew graphic novels are written by John Layman and Rob Guillory, and they are about this man right here. He's a detective. His name is John Chew, and he is a cibopath. Basically what that means is that he is able to chew on or bite into different objects and tell that object's kind of life story. What happened to it, where it came from, how it died or was plucked, or whatever the case may be. And he uses those skills to help the FDA solve crimes. It takes place on kind of like a futuristic world where I guess the FDA is super powerful now because avian flu has made chicken illegal or something. I'm not entirely positive as to what happens, but Lindsay loves them. And like I said, I will read pretty much anything Lindsay Ray recommends. So I'm really, really excited to get into these. The next book I heard about, I also was reminded of by another booktuber. Rachel from Calinati recently read the most recent volume in the Flavia de Luce mystery series, which reminded me I needed to get the first volume in the Flavia de Luce mystery series, which is this one right here. It's The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie by Alan Bradley. And I'm not a big mystery reader, but this one sounds like it might actually, kind of ring some bells for me. It's about 11-year-old Flavia de Luce, and she uses her precociousness and chemistry to solve crime, I believe in the 1950s. Yeah, the summer of 1950 is when it starts. I first thought that this was actually a book set in the South. For some reason, I spent a lot of time thinking it was set in Mississippi, but I guess it's not. It's actually set in England, in kind of an English country house. I didn't actually realize that until I was listening to the audiobook of it that I also downloaded, and the narrator had an English accent. And at first I was like, what? That is preposterous. That can't be right. And then I read the back of the book, and it turns out it's pretty spot on. So, like I said, I've got my fingers crossed for this one as far as mysteries go. I think I'm really going to like it. Rachel had some really, really good things to say about it, so we'll see. The next one up is yet another first volume in a series that I have not yet gotten to because, I don't know, I've been living under a rock or something. And it is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This is the first in the Magicians trilogy. This is the story of Quentin. And Quentin, one day, Quentin does magic. He's like a card magician, like street magic kind of thing. And he one day realizes or is told that magic is real. And he starts the process of applying to a magical university called Breakbills in a land called Fillory. And I've heard this described as kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia meets Harry Potter, plus like sex and drugs and rock and roll and all that stuff. I've heard that some of the characters in this first volume aren't very likable. So we'll see how that goes. That's not usually something that rings super well with me. So I guess we'll kind of have to see. But I'm all for any book that has Harry Potter as part of its pitch points. So hopefully this ends up working out. The next book I got is a book that helps with my continued quest on short stories. Those of you who have been following along with my written blog for a while know that I do these things called Short Story Saturdays because I'm always trying to get more short stories in my life. As somebody who works to write short stories, I think it's important to continue to kind of have, you know, examples and things and to kind of see what's going on in the field. This is not a new book to the field, but Alice Munro is like the queen hot diggity dog of short story writing as far as I'm concerned. And this is one of her volumes that I haven't read yet. It's called Too Much Happiness. It was published in... This is her, oh, where is it? This is her one from 2009. So it's actually right after she won the Man Booker Prize, or this is the one she won the Man Booker Prize for. I am super excited. I have no idea what it's about other than it's Alice Munro and it's short stories, and that's enough for me. I have two more that I'm going to talk about. Shockingly enough, the next one is also the first in a series, but caveat, it's not really the first in the series. It wasn't written first, but I've really, really, really wanted to get into the Vorkosigan saga by Lois McMaster Bujold. And I went online to kind of see what the reading order was, because it's kind of like the Discworld books and that there's like a whole bunch of different ways you could read it. So I found the way that Lois McMaster Bujold recommends to read it, and she said to start with Shards of Honor. I guess this was actually written as like a prequel to some of the other books, but it really kind of starts the series and starts everything off in this Vorkosigan saga. And so I'm really, really excited. I've heard, or from what I know, this is slightly more to like the sci-fi end of sci-fi fantasy, which usually isn't like the end of the spectrum that I dabble in all that much. So we'll have to see. But it also sounds like it's got a really good romance plotline. Like that's kind of what this one is about. It's the romance that started this whole like clan or family or whatever. So I'm really, really excited to get into it. It's not, as you can see, it's not like super long, especially for like a sci-fi fantasy book. Hopefully it works out. I'm trusting Lois on this one. And lastly, I have a book that I was recommended to by one of the print bloggers that I read, Eva at A Striped Armchair, who I will also link down below. She recently read The Night Counter by Aliyah Yunus. I think that's how you say it. Please correct me if I'm wrong if you know. But this book sounds fascinating. Basically what it is, it's like a multi-generational saga, which, you know, ringing all the bells there. And the main protagonist is Fatima Abdullah, and she's 85. And essentially this is kind of sort of a twist on like 1001 Nights. Scheherazade is coming to Fatima, and instead of Scheherazade telling stories, Fatima is actually telling her life story to Scheherazade. So she knows that she only has 1001 nights to do it, and that, you know, on her 1001th night of storytelling, she's going to die. And they're on night like 992. So she only has like a week left to live, and she knows this. So she's busy like wrapping up loose strings, and we hear all about the different members of her family throughout time. All of these different kind of backstories. Like I said, it's a family saga. It checks off a whole bunch of my bells, everything from a riff on a classic novel to it's a diverse read to like look at how beautiful this cover is. I wonder if I can like, without being too reflective-y, like, do you see some of this beautiful artistic detail on here? It's just, I picked it up and I like, my jaw hit the floor. But this is a book that it's a little big. With all the other books that I have, I'm really hoping to get through this one. I might have to kind of push it to the top of the pile in order for that to happen though. But that is it. Those are all of the books that I have gotten from the library recently. If you've read any of them, if you have opinions on any of them, please let me know. As always, like, comment, subscribe, hit me up on all the social media, and I will see you guys hopefully within another couple of days with another video. All right, bye guys.